Hey, Drew.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Where are you from?
I grew up in Memphis, so just down the road, a couple 100 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you come from a musical family?
I mean, not exactly. He hates when I say this, but I would say that my dad was a music-loving, tone-deaf dentist. He loved music, so I grew up, listening to the radio with my parents and did a lot of road trips. My mom plays the piano a little bit, so she would play. Our alarm clock growing up was her banging out hymns,
No way.
So there was a little bit of music in the house, but nobody was, very proficient or good at it. So, But everybody loved music, so that sort of it spoke to me from a young age because my parents loved music a lot.
Rise and shine, give God the glory.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Up from the grave he arose.
Did she keep the piano tuned, or were you waking up to
It was decently tuned. Yeah. She tried to get us all to play. One of my big regrets is that I started lessons, and at the time I was 8 or 9 years old, and I had no interest in it. Mm-hmm. And so I let it go, and then got a guitar 4 or 5 years later, and that kind of really sparked my imagination. But I still regret giving up the piano as a kid.
What made you want to play the guitar then?
A friend played, and it seemed fun, and I liked music, and so I just thought, yeah, let's give it a go. So I got a guitar for Christmas, and kind of never looked back. I think that was probably 6th or 7th grade. But I had no intention of doing music. I just was a hobbyist. Mm-hmm. And then in college, I started writing songs. I went through sort of a personal tragedy, lost a brother. And music was really the thing that kind of made me feel less alone and all that, Mm-hmm. And so I went to college, and all of a sudden I started tinkering with songwriting. Like, I wonder if I could be like Van Morrison or David Gray and write a song that means something to somebody. So,
right.
Yeah.
Could you speak to how the Memphis music scene might be different than Nashville?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different. I mean, Memphis has an incredible pool of talent, obviously has incredible history. There's some great studios there. I would say that the Memphis's sort of approach to music is definitely a lot grittier than Nashville. It's got a really sort of particular chip on its shoulder. I think Memphis feels like Nashville's gotten all of the commerce and all the industry, and yet, Memphis has so much of the history and the talent. But even, the sort of two of the main legends from Memphis, Elvis and Johnny Cash, ended up either moving here or making a lot of their records here. RCA bought out Elvis's Sun Records contract, and he started recording in Nashville. And so there's always a little bit of a sort of an edge to Memphis. I grew up going to see bands like Lucero, this kind of like country punk band. Mm-hmm. Memphis stuff is very original, very unique, and I think that spirit helped me when I moved here. It helped me not get sort of sucked into the commercial lane, which I may have been better for my pocketbook in the long run, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so it kind of gave me a little bit of an independent contrarian streak that I still carry, hopefully a little more humbly, though, because I was humbled when I came to Nashville by the level of talent. Yeah. Whether it was musicians or songwriters, engineers, producers. I mean, the magnet that this city is with music and the talent here, I was quickly like, oh, this is different. Mm-hmm. This is not a hobby for these people.
No. And they are filling their pocketbooks with.
And they are filling their pocketbooks. But there's also just like every genre, there's incredible amount of talent. And getting the studio with studio drummers and all of a sudden going, oh, that's different.
Yeah. So. But would you say it surprised you the most about Nashville when you got here?
I think my perception of Nashville before I got here was that it was very sort of cutthroat and competitive. And I did not find that to be true. I found that people were pretty welcoming and generous with their time and resources to a point. I mean, obviously people are looking. That was mainly on the artist and songwriter side. I did find the business to be pretty cutthroat. Yeah. But I was also surprised at the time at how bad Nashville's food was. Like in 2005 and 6, when I started coming here, 2006 when I moved here, I was like, there's nothing good to eat here. Obviously, that's completely flipped. Yeah. And Nashville's an incredible city for food now, but I was shocked at how poorly everyone ate.
So this is wild. You got to fill your body with some better stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. your wife is also a musician.
She is, yeah.
How did y'all meet?
We actually met in college at a pregame barbecue on a Friday night. A friend of mine was doing a pig roast.
Nice.
Just a bunch of people getting ready for the, typical college stuff. But I quickly found out she loved music. She found out I did. So music became sort of a glue of what became a long friendship before we dated. We didn't date till 4 or 5 years after we met. But yeah, music was, we went to shows together, we drove to Atlanta for some shows, went over the mountains to Asheville, North Carolina to go to shows, went to everything that came through Knoxville. And she's a bit of a dancing hippie at a concert, so I was like, that girl's pretty fun,
Yeah.
But she didn't want to do music. Actually, she grew up here in Nashville, grew up around music, and because of the sort of intensity of the job in the industry, she had said I'm not going to do that. But turns out she did. Anyways, yeah.
I think it's interesting that you brought up the cutthroatness of the industry. We're here at AmeriCanaFest this week, and yesterday it was interesting for me to see. There was one event I went to that very few artists, very few musicians, pretty much just industry, and I hated every second. I was like, this is awful, and just the way people talk, and it was interesting. Then the next event I went to, which was kind of flipped, was majority artists, which is where you feel so comfortable. There's a theory that my boss has that if you are a kind, approachable artist, then you need a manager that's much more cutthroat. and if you're a dick of an artist, then you need a really nice manager.
There's probably some truth to that.
I think. Well, honestly, when I get to Nashville, I feel like it's very evidenced, by the scene here, because I'm with you. The community of musicians here is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's not as much competition as you would anticipate, as opposed to LA or New York.
Well, somebody told me this great thing that there's a lot of ears out there. You're not necessarily competing for ears, and people have a lot of capacity to like a lot of music. So
yeah.
I think it's also it's easy to get sort of swept up in two things. One, in the economics of music, and so people want to find a winning horse, so that can start to create weird narratives both for industry people and for artists in their own heads, as far as how they make their decisions about what they want to work on. It oftentimes takes people away from what originally brought them to music and that they love. And then the second thing, it's easy to compare yourself, and find value in your success or lack of success, and start to, I think it's been really important for me as a musician to not sort of let the mythology that you have to create a story about who you are in your biography and the story of music, not to let that completely define you, because it's easy to sort of believe your own mythology, and then you get kind of wrapped up in it. So the way I've done that is having a lot of really close friends who aren't involved in music at all.
There it is.
Yeah, because they see through it all.
Totally. And also, I think it helps you to get a more accurate kind of portrayal of yourself by
absolutely
see people that aren't knee deep in the weeds and don't know that the changes that you're doing, and it's just the feeling.
When I start talking to my guitar player about an arrangement, and my friends are like, y'all are speaking a different language, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you don't speak this language so that I can be normal with you.
Right. Totally. You might appreciate the beginning of this year, I told all my friend group out in LA, I was like, our mission this year is no more musician friends. We need lawyers and nurses and chefs, because God, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
can't do it anymore.
It can be a lot, for sure.
You mentioned the personal tragedy you went through in college. Is that what made you start songwriting? Is that when you started writing your own stuff?
Yeah, it is. It was a couple years. I had a brother that passed away when it was 99, so I was right before my senior year of high school. I didn't start writing songs probably till my sophomore year of college. It was a couple year delay. But really what happened was I went to Scotland on a study abroad program.
Cool.
And I didn't really know anybody, but I took my guitar, and so I ended up just sitting and playing guitar for hours and hours and singing in my little, dorm room. flat there in Edinburgh. And so I just started playing with writing. Like at first it was just kind of it was just for me. And then did that entire 6 months, moved back home, played the songs for some friends, and they were all kind of like, man, these are kind of good. Maybe you should think about giving this a go, which was not on my radar at all.
Wow.
But yeah, the songs kind of grew up in that soil of grief and joy and gratitude for the years that I had with him, but also the sadness of not having him anymore. And so, yeah, I think music just has the power to soundtrack our best and worst moments. And so that sort of, I don't know, inspired me to give it a shot. And, but it took me a while to find my footing. I think for the first few records and EPs, there was a lot of sort of copycatting of not necessarily songs, but of styles. And it took me a minute to find my own voice.
Totally.
Some people find it when they're really young. I probably didn't find it until I was in my late 20s. And I listen back to those records and I can hear the searching for identity musically. There's still some great stuff that I'm very proud of in those years, but in general, it took me a minute to sort of identify my own vision as an artist and literally to find my own voice and to put the band together and all the pieces that make it what it is now.
Yeah, that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Did you do any music in Scotland that was like traditional Scottish stuff?
I went to some of the
the jams.
The jams, like play along to like Loch Lomond and some of those songs, but I wasn't very good, so I was just like the guy playing the chords at the corner, like C, G, D. All right, here we go.
They don't mess around with the jams.
No, that's all night long. Lots of jams, lots of Guinness.
Drew, who are some artists or some bands that you think everybody should listen to right now?
I really like this Stephen Wilson Jr. This record called Son of Dad. That's, I think, just a real masterpiece in songwriting and in production. It's a really, really thoughtful, unique project. Sort of spans the like serious songwriter / country chasm really well. So that I went to see My Morning Jacket last night.
How was that?
It was amazing. I know they're like a big band that everybody, but I took my wife and she doesn't really know their music. And halfway through the show, she was like, why do I not listen to them? They're so good. Let's go see them again. So just, if you've slept on my morning jacket, don't do that. There's this great young duo called Small Time that I think is really, really talented. They didn't put a record out yet, but they've been putting out a lot of really cool videos on the internet, on Instagram and stuff, and they're going to be a thing. Cool. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking it all out.
Yeah.
And I'm a little envious that you have like a built-in best friend, music lover, wife partner. That's so dope. That's so dope.
It is pretty fun until you're comparing mixed notes and they're not at all like, you're like, uh-oh. Because sometimes we do write and record together.
Yeah.
It can get a little tricky.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure. Drew, you're the best for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm going to shake your hand.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, stunning people. If you're loving our music, make sure to give us a like and a subscribe. And comment below who you want to see next.